Well, good evening or good night, and welcome to lesson 11 of A Course in Miracles using the white edition again, book B, which is the workbook. I'm almost hesitant to do lesson 11. I really like lesson 10 so much, and it's very tempting to want to stay on one lesson for more than a day, which you can do if you want to, but just don't do more than one lesson a day. Follow the instructions. The whole thing with salvation is to follow the instructions. So, and the reason for that being is that this is channeled from a mind who knows your particulars better than you do. So, which ought to be a nice relief, actually. You know, it ought to be something that you can relax into and enjoy. It's like, oh, thank God someone's got this on my behalf. You know, the fix is in. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to follow the instructions. And it's all written down. Can't make it any easier than that, really. But who knows? Maybe one day there'll be like a matrix and you'll be able to just have the red pill or the blue pill. But for now, there's... Spiritual Awakening looks like 365 lessons if you're using A Course in Miracles. So lesson 11, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And I actually really love this lesson too, because it's the first one really that consciously kind of connects your thinking with the idea that I'm manifesting my reality and interacting with my own thoughts out on a physical plane, you know, and getting the results of what I'm thinking, seeing it out there, right, as a meaningless world, because all my thoughts are meaningless. Lesson 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. That's why there's no point trying to use my thoughts to try and work out what these lessons mean. You have to apply the lessons and have the experiences that the lessons will guide you towards and take you through at whatever level you're ready to accept that at. And everybody's different, I know. I mean, some people are more desperate than others, and some people have spent a lot more effort and devotion than others and all that sort of stuff. But by and large, if you're consciously and determined and you have this perseverance and everything like that, you'll put this into practice and you will gain the experiences from doing so. And I've actually had about 3 or 4 really nice inboxes from people in the last 2 or 3 days who are tagging along with these first 50 lessons with me and saying exactly that. And somebody even wrote to me today and said that I turned up in their dreams last night. I hope that wasn't too frightening. I like to have belly dancers and things like that turn up in my dreams. I don't think I'd like me to turn up in my dreams. But anyway, that's another story. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. This is the first idea we have had, which is related to a major phase of the correction process, the reversal of the thinking of the world. Wow! The reversal of the thinking of the world. It seems as if the world determines what you perceive. Today's idea introduces the concept that your thoughts determine the world you see. Be glad indeed to practice it in this initial form, for in this idea is your release made sure. The key to forgiveness lies in it. The practice periods for today's idea are to be undertaken somewhat differently from the previous ones. Begin with eyes closed and repeat the idea slowly to yourself. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Then open your eyes and look about, near or far, up or down, anywhere. During the minute or so to be spent in using the idea, merely repeat it to yourself, being sure to do so without haste and with no sense of urgency or effort. To do these exercises for maximum benefit, the eyes should move from one thing to another fairly rapidly, since they should not linger on anything in particular. The words, however, should be used in an unhurried, even leisurely fashion. The introduction to this idea should be practiced as casually as possible. It contains the foundation for the peace, relaxation, and freedom from worry that we are trying to achieve. On concluding the exercises, close your eyes and repeat the idea once more slowly to yourself. 3 practice periods today will probably be sufficient. However, if there is little or no uneasiness and an inclination to do more, as many as 5 may be undertaken. More than this is not recommended. All right, so eyes closed. So begin with eyes closed, repeat the idea slowly to yourself. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Right? Then, it's just leisurely. Then open your eyes, look about. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Just for a minute or so, all right? About 3 times today. And I like to usually read lessons like this that have a different application section. Just read it through a couple of times. Make sure you get the hang of it, because there's no point in doing a lesson and sitting there for a minute or two if you're doing it wrong. All right, so following the instructions is important. And that's about it. The idea that my thoughts are making my reality, or that I'm projecting my thoughts out onto a blank canvas of the world and getting the results of my own thinking, that what I'm projecting out there, right? And you've got to remember that our minds are like a supercomputer. We have thousands of thoughts every hour, thousands of them. And probably, 10 a minute or something that maybe that we use to cognitively pick things up and do things and interact with things. Who knows? I don't really count them myself, but it's not many, I can guarantee you. And even I remember seeing this little show when we're driving a car, like after the initial training period, it just becomes so second nature. You don't even think about what you're doing. And literally your eyes are moving at like 5 times a second or something, or 15 times a second, taking in what's around you as you're traveling down the road, and your mind's processing all that stuff, So the mind is a really powerful thing, powerful tool. And learning to use it then through these lessons, learning to use it properly for a higher good, is something that's really exciting to me. It's like, let's get out of the puddle of evolution on the physical plane, and let's take a quantum step together and just go ballistic into an experience that shows us what is beyond and what is our true reality, our true nature. So, and when I say beyond, it's not really that there is a beyond. I mean, we are everything all at once, all together anyway, but the idea of the transcending of the temporal association, boop, out you go. And that's a really cool experience. So lesson 11, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Enjoy. See you tomorrow.